We aren't our ancestors. Some people say that because they think that they wouldn't have put up with some of the things that their ancestors did. I've never really been one to say that statement. I think that our ancestors had a tremendous amount of strength and are owed a tremendous amount of respect because most of us can't even fathom some of the things that they went through. And we may never even know all the things that they went through. But I'm bringing up that statement because, in a sense, we aren't our ancestors. Most of us have access to so much more information than our ancestors had. We have the ability to travel and flee from situations that we don't like, that we don't appreciate, that we don't agree with, in a way that many of our ancestors did not have. I mean, if you just simply think about having cars, bicycles, motorcycles, planes, trains, buses, some of our ancestors didn't have any of that. If you think about the technology that we have, computers and laptops and phones and smartphones and smart watches, some of our ancestors didn't have any of that. And while many people disparage technology, as I just mentioned, having access to it, we have access to information from multiple sources. We don't have to take one source of information. Juneteenth is a celebration that almost has a horrible truth in it. Basically, that slaves were kept enslaved for far longer than they should have been because they didn't know. No one had told them that they were free. And we have access to information that people want to keep from us, just like that, just like what our rights are, what rights are being attempted to be taken away. So, in a sense, we aren't our ancestors. We don't have everything that they had, but we have a lot of things that they didn't have. And because we aren't our ancestors, and because we have access to the entire world and not just our small village, our small street, our small neighborhood, our four walls of our home, we have access to help, advocacy, wisdom, knowledge, guidance, tools that our ancestors would have never even known. And that is why there is, in my mind, no limit to how much can be done by a group of motivated individuals. If our ancestors could end slavery when they had much less than we have at our disposal, then if anybody tries to bring it back, there's no excuse for us not stopping that right in its tracks. If our ancestors were able to get civil rights with what they had at their disposal, then if anybody tries to take it away, again, we need to muster all the things that we have at our disposal to prevent that from happening. We have many more laws on our side than they had. Again, we have the ability to send a message from one end of the earth to the other. I mean, if you paid attention in 2020 to Black Lives Matter, to the protests that spanned the globe when George Floyd was brutally murdered in plain sight, within our lifetime, within the last decade, we've seen many times when one voice, one video, one news story, one slogan, one meme, one hashtag has gone viral and changed laws, changed policies, changed behavior, changed attitude, changed mindsets. Again, that's something that we've seen in our lifetime multiple times, if you've been paying attention, that our ancestors might not have seen. So once again, as much as there is a challenge that many of us are facing in America today with a group of motivated individuals who want to take us backwards, who want to erase progress, who want to implement their vision of the supremacy of one group. There's many of us who can stop that and say, no, that's not going to happen. You may have thought that you had all of this at your disposal, but you don't. You don't have carte blanche to do whatever you want. You don't have everything in your pocket, everything handed to you on a silver platter. There is resistance. There is a group of people, Americans, people around the world who are saying, hey, we've seen some of this before. We've seen some of this before, and it didn't turn out to be a positive thing. It turned out to be a very negative thing for people of color, for nations, for the entire world. And we're not going to go back to those things that we defeated in the past that cost lives to defeat, that cost suffering and trauma. We don't need to repeat that. We don't need to repeat history, because we can look at history and say, never again. We can look at history and say, not on my watch. We can look at history and say, hey, my ancestors went through this, so I would not have to go through this. And I'm not going to go through this because I'm going to stop it. Every time I see it, I'm going to speak out on it. And when I speak out on it, there's going to be ways for me to influence what's going on, whether that's voting, whether that's boycotting, whether that's strikes, whether that's, petitions, whether that is going viral through a meme, a post, a hashtag, whatever it is, whether it's calling my representatives, writing them letters, emailing, starting a campaign, whatever it is. There's so many ways that as Americans we've been given to make our voices known, because this is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. It is not a government of one group, for one group, and by one group. It is not a government of politicians, by politicians, for politicians. It's not a government of the wealthy, by the wealthy, for the wealthy. That's not what it is. Every person who's a citizen has a right to say and do what is in the best interest of this country through their vote, through their voice, and that is what this country was founded on. It was not founded on the wealthy. It was not founded on tyranny. It was not founded on one religious ideology. It was founded on freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press. It was founded on the power of the people. May you walk in synergy.